KLA, welcome to our first episode of 2019. I'm Ryan and this is Esmeralda and we are today's host.
This week we will be having a 3-day weekend in order to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday.
One of his famous quotes is, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Love can do that. Only love can do that." Remember this quote when you are mad. So here are the upcoming stories. We have a story about Legoland, the place where everything is awesome.
We will have a story about our 7th grader's field trip after the semester ends. We will have a story about who the teacher who has been here the longest is, and shout outs, and we will also find out about who Miss Hartain was in her middle school years.
Next up we have Rosalia and Rania doing the Legoland story. Bye.
Hello, I'm Rosalia.
And I'm Rania.
Today we will be talking about the 7th grade Reward the Doers Legoland field trip. Mr. Buddy is in charge of planning this year's trip to Legoland, so we asked him some questions based on this topic. Some of the questions you might have will now be answered. The field trip will take place on February 8, 14 days after the semester ends. It's a free dress, and to be able to go, it's required a 2.5 GPA and CPA. Lunch will be provided for you, but if you want, you can bring your own lunch and money. You will be assigned groups to get to the park and back, but you will be able to be with your friends once we arrive at the park. The permission slips will be passed out and returned to you by Mr. Buddy. We hope the story has answered some of your questions so you can be prepared.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey and I'll be interviewing Miss Williams today, and she has been here for 14 years. She has been here since the school started on September 6, 2005 and was an 8th grade math teacher as well. Mrs. Williams also started the STEM program at the school. Here's the interview. Hi, I'm Jeffrey and I'm going to be interviewing Miss Williams today. So tell me what you first did when you came to KLA.
When I first came to KLA, I was an 8th grade math teacher in the same room Mr. Armstrong's in, and I taught, it was called middle school algebra, and I also taught honors algebra.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite part about your job?
Now, my favorite part about my job is teaching kids about their future and watching
college.
them. Like college, exactly. Let's see. What do you want to do in the future? I love exploring that with students and just seeing what they want to do and see their eyes open.
Do you have any advice to any of the new teachers here?
I do. I think when you focus on procedures, it really helps the class to flow smoothly. Like, what's the procedure when you enter the room? What's the procedure when you sharpen a pencil? What's the procedure when you start the class, in the middle of the class, when you need to ask a question? When you procedure things, over and over again, students just naturally are able to do them, and they can actually run the class themselves. We call this Keeler Leadership Academy, so kids naturally become leaders.
Thank you for your time. I'm Jeffrey and you're watching KLA News.
Hey KLA News, we're back with more shoutouts, and I'm Ariana.
And I'm Anaya. Today we have a handful of people who are getting shoutouts.
Mr. Jimenez would like to shout out the following students: Eduardo for always trying his best and being a good friend to his peers, Jose for constantly working hard at trying to be the best person he can be, Alex for having the courage to change old habits and staying positive with his peers, and Jada for working hard at bettering herself.
Mr. Brody wants to shout out the following students: Manny for taking charge of his own learning and science, Louise for having a great sense of humor, and Mr. Hamler also wants to shout out the following students: Stephanie for doing great on the interim CAS test, and Alizar for solving the mystery of the Red-Headed League.
Congratulations to the students who got a shout out, and teachers, don't forget to turn in these shout outs to Ms. Belmain's mailbox.
Hi everyone, welcome back to KLA News. Today I'm here with Miss Hartain, and we're going to talk about who she was in middle school. So, who were you like towards your peers?
Who was I? Okay, so, well, when I was in middle school, I actually was the class president. But I kind of got in a lot of trouble. But that's just because we like to have fun.
So, like, what about, like, academically?
Academically, I wasn't really good at math. Actually, I was terrible at math. But when it came to reading and writing, I was really, really good at reading and writing. I used to have this like journal, and I would just write story after story after story, and it's just what I love to do.
Did you like yourself back then?
Did I like myself? Well, in middle school, when you're going through puberty, I think it's normal to kind of question yourself, like who you are, and like always ask yourself, do my friends like me? Am I annoying? Am I being nice? Am I being too much of like a show off? So I don't really remember how I was thinking, but I do remember asking myself some of those questions.
Is there something that you did like back then, and you still use it to this day, like something, like when you went through something, you know?
Well, when I was in middle school, that's when my dad passed away, and so I think one of the biggest things that I learned from that time period was that you appreciate what you had, but you still have to move on and move forward, and you have to still always enjoy what's around you and all the people that you are still with.
Okay, well that was Miss Hartain on how she was.
Hello, KLA leaders.
I am Ramon.
And I'm Alyssa. There will be an upcoming 3-day weekend to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
If you don't know why we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, it is to acknowledge his achievements as an influential American rights leader.
Also, final exams are through January 22nd through January 25th, so be prepared.
Here are a couple tips to get prepared for the final exams. First, be sure you study properly. It sounds like a no-brainer, but if you're sure of the information, you'll have less reason to be worried. Get enough sleep the night before final exams. We have a KLA dance showcase coming up on January 26, 2019 at 12 p.m., which will be located at the Joan B. Kroc Theater. You will be able to get tickets in the front office from Miss Liz for $5.
This is it all, KLA leaders.
Thank you for watching.